everyone, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're talking about book covers. More specifically, we're talking about special edition book covers from Illumicrate. Something I've been thinking about more and more recently is, do I actually like the special editions that we've been getting? Currently, I am signed up for Illumicrate, Afterlight, which is their romance subscription, Starbright, which is their quarterly sci-fi subscription, and Evernight, which is their quarterly horror subscription. They also have now put out Mindsight, yes, which is like their mystery thing. I don't read those as much, so I don't know what we've gotten with those. I think we've only had one book come out under that branch. But one thing that I've been noticing is when I've been getting in certain books, the covers just haven't been feeling as cover designed as I would have liked. Not necessarily saying the art is bad, because the art is usually gorgeous. But when I look at the books, I sometimes feel like I would have preferred the original cover. And with some books now coming out with special first printings, like the hardcover has something on it, the edges have something on it, the end papers have something on it, those traditional style printings, the normal book, seems more special than not. And so what I wanted to do today is go through the last 6 months of Illumicrate and all the other little companies under it and see what covers I prefer. Now, some of the covers for the US and the UK are different, so we are going to take a look at both of those as well, and just sort of see, do I think they've been doing a good job personally, like with my taste, for the book covers that they've been changing up for their special editions, because I have been debating recently, do I want to keep my subscriptions? I don't know yet. So without further ado, that's what we're going to be doing today. I will put all of the covers up on the screen and show you if I bought it or not. I am very picky about the books that I have been getting through subscription boxes for the last couple years because I don't want them to just sit on my TBR, even though they do, but I also don't want books coming in that I know are just not my thing. So let's start with January, right? That makes sense. We're gonna be starting with the January Illumicrate subscription. And for that month, it was the Poet Empress by Shen Tao. This is a book that I just did not really feel was up my alley, definitely more medieval fantasy. This cover that you're currently seeing is the US version. I think it's a very stylized cover. It's really pretty, not necessarily my thing, but I like it. Then if we go to the UK cover, I think I prefer this one better. I like the brighter colors. I love that the dragon is on the cover as well. I just think this is really, really pretty. Now, this is the Illumicrate cover. I want to say it does sort of feel like a book cover. That's the biggest thing for me lately, is that some of these books haven't been feeling like covers. They've just been feeling more like fan art on a cover. I do think this fits for a special edition book. I don't think I like it nearly as much as the UK or US versions, and I think it's just because it's a little bit more dull. I like the fact that we have the dragon on there again, a very stylized Chinese sort of Asian style dragon, but I don't think this would be my first pick if I was looking at all three covers. One thing I will say also is that there were 2 other boxes that did special editions of this book. The first was Owlcrate, from my understanding. This was a monthly subscription box book. I do not subscribe to Owlcrate. I used to in the past, but they were supporting certain authors and franchises and things that I could not support, and so years ago I canceled all my subscriptions. I think their cover is very striking. I like the red on it. I feel like it harkens back a little bit to the US cover in that way. So again, I think it's a pretty good cover design. Then there was also Fae Crate, who did this as an exclusive. So it wasn't a monthly book, but it was an exclusive. And from my understanding, it's just like a cloth-ish style book with embossing on it. I don't mind books that have this sort of style underneath the dust jacket, but there needs to be something else on the dust jacket for me because I don't want that to just be my book. So I would definitely not choose that. So overall, I think the January style and pick is pretty good. Then we're going to be moving on to Afterlight. Afterlight is, like I said, the romance subscription from Illumicrate, and they do their books every single month. The book that came out for January was Fundamentals of Being a Good Girl by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. I did not get this one. The cover that you're seeing here is actually the US and UK version, and I don't mind it. I feel like for what the title is, and from what I know of the book, this fits very, very well. I like that you can tell the character is plus sized without it being anything more than just her leg. I don't know, there's something about it. This is the Afterlight edition. It's fine. I think this is one of those things where it feels more like fan art a little bit. And I know that this is partly because this is a romance. And a lot of romances nowadays, even ones that are standard, have usually the two characters on it and they're interacting in some way on the cover. And that's what this is. I just don't think it's special enough to be a cover, like a cover design. Does that make sense? So I really do prefer the traditional cover for the US and the UK. I don't know, there's something about it that just feels more like a cover to me, but the art style is great. Again, this is nothing on these artists. This one also had another special edition through Owlcrate. I don't know if it was a monthly pick or not, but this is what it looks like. This, I feel like, again, does fit the character art vibes, but in a way, I almost feel like it is still more of a cover than the Afterlight one. Would I pick up either of these books? Not with the premise of the story, because I knew it wasn't going to be something for me, but as a romance, yeah, I probably still would have picked those up. Then we also have an Evernight for January. It was We Call Them Witches by India Rose Bauer. This is going to be the US cover. It's fine. I like the sort of yellow that we have in the text, but nothing stands out as amazing to me. This one is going to be the UK cover. I prefer this one a lot better. There's just something about the art style of the fox and everything that I really enjoy. We still have yellow font, but it's like a slightly different color yellow, and I just like the look of this better. This is one that I have from Evernight, and so this is the cover that we have going on. I do think this has a very sinister vibe. I do feel like it's very different than the other two covers that we saw. And I wish the font on here was more than just the gold. It is a very light gold. And I think it's just because the other two have the words so big on the cover that it definitely makes me think cover of a book. This, I like what's in the middle. I just wish the title and stuff stood out more. We also have sprayed edges and everything. Because I don't have all these books personally, I can't tell you how I feel about all the inside pieces. But I will say in general, with the different covers and things that I have been seeing from Illumicrate and Afterlight, etc., I prefer usually the stylized nature of the naked hardcovers and the edges and the end papers. It's the actual dust jacket hardcovers that sometimes fall flat for me. So that's why we're looking at those. I like this one. I do still think I would prefer the UK cover. However, if I had to choose between the US version and this, I would definitely pick this. Okay, so now we're going to be moving to February. We do have an Illumicrate for February. It is going to be Saltswept by Catalina Watt. This is the UK cover. Because it has not been published in the US, at least from what I can see, I cannot find it anywhere. I can't even find when it's going to be coming out in the US. So the fact that I got it from Illumicrate, because I did get it, I'll show you in a second, I like when that kind of stuff happens, when things would either be coming out much later in the US, or as of right now, I can't find a publishing date for Saltswept. I absolutely love this cover. I love the design of like the whirlpool sort of looking thing. I love the colors on this. So I will say the Illumicrate that came in for me, this was one of the first times I actually was like, huh, I probably should not have gotten it as a special edition, because don't get me wrong, I think this is a nice book, a nice cover. It definitely feels cover-y. I just love the original so much more. I just love how it has so much more movement and everything. This is not bad. I like how we do actually have like a giant octopus or squid or something. I think it's an octopus though, so I don't know. On this, the colors are very, very pretty, but this is gorgeous. And so again, underneath the dust jacket, I'm fine with that. The edges where we have, like, again, tentacles and things, I really do enjoy that. But as an actual design book cover thing, I was disappointed when this one came in. Then we're gonna move to Afterlight for February, and that was Domcom by Adriana Anders. This is the US cover. I feel like this fits the vibe very well. It looks like a good cover to me. This is gonna be the UK cover, which has a little bit more colors to it. With these two, they're very similar. I do think I prefer the US cover. I don't know, there's something about the all pink that I just like. And then this is going to be the Afterlight edition. From my understanding, there's either a reversible dust jacket, or when you take off the dust jacket, there is almost a similar picture on the hardcover underneath, but in a more steamy, sexy pose. I'm fine with it. Again, we have the two characters on here, and I find it interesting that at least for January and February, our romances that we had covers that do not have people on it. And yes, that is sort of rare for romances. So when they're making their covers, they're putting both people on it every single time. And I think that might be part of the thing for me, is I just would prefer it to be a little bit more, a little bit different than what we've been seeing. And yes, romances do that all the time. So maybe that's just a very comfortable way. They know people are gonna want to see character art. I would almost prefer to have the character art on the naked hardcover. Then we're gonna be moving down to our first Starbright. Like I said, this is gonna be a quarterly subscription, so we don't get it every single month. And it was Jitterbug by Gareth L. Powell. This cover is going to be for US and UK. There's nothing wrong with this cover. I like that it sort of has a silhouette on there. It's a little bit different. However, I actually really, really enjoy this one. I think this is freaking gorgeous. I love that it is character-like, but the stark white with the space stuff here, and it looks like we have like, it's like feathers, you know? Like, I just like how we have the stark white and then the space in the silhouette in our spaceship. This is just like such a good sci-fi design here. And that's not even saying anything about going into our sprayed edges or the sci-fi nature of our end papers. And I just love this aspect of the hardcover. Because again, we're mostly looking at covers, like dust jackets. This is gorgeous. I absolutely love this one. Okay, we're gonna be moving into March. Our Illumicrate for March is Aicha by Soraya Bouzawi. I'm sorry. I did not get this one. I should have looked up that name and I didn't. I think this cover is very, very pretty. It is for the US and the UK, and the Illumicrate cover is again the character. I think because it's more removed, where we can see like the whole stance of the character instead of a close-up, I don't prefer the Illumicrate cover. I do prefer the original. However, I'm not mad at it, and I could see people liking both. So this is not like a lose for me. It's just I did prefer the original. And then going into our Afterlight for March, we have Starshipped by Cat Sebastian. This is the US and UK version. I think this is really cool as a cover. It's sort of stylized, looks sort of like a comic style. I did get the Afterlight, which is going to be this one. I don't mind this one. And again, we have our characters here, but I think because they're a little bit less the big main focus, and we have the title in a billboard, because this is gonna be about TV show stars, I think it fits. I do think I actually might prefer the original one, but I'm not mad at this, especially when, again, we have all the extra special edition stuff. Like, actually this, I like the stylized version of this, but this is what I'm meaning with like all the other ones that I was talking about. I would like my characters on the naked hardcover more than like having that as this cover. And I like also the fact that they had it as Out There, which is the TV show that they're supposed to be on. Like, I like that fact. I don't mind character artwork for my special editions. I just would prefer it there. We also have our end papers and everything. Like, this is a very pretty edition, even if I technically prefer the like main cover of the original. Okay, we're moving down to March. For Illumicrate, we have Thistlemarsh by Maria Corrigan. This is going to be the US version. I like this a lot. It's very busy in a way, but that's because of all the plant life around the door and everything. I love the color of it. This one is going to be the UK version. Very different in the color, but I do still feel like we get that sort of like mystery surrounding Thistlemarsh, which is going to be the house in the story. A little bit different vibes, but like in general, I think they both work for what they are. I did get this one, and it's going to be this for Illumicrate. We have, again, Thistlemarsh on the cover. I don't mind this, but I do think the colors are a little bit dark. Like they're all a little bit saturated, cool toned colors. And I feel like it just needed a little bit something different. If I saw this as a cover, I don't think I would mind very much. I do prefer either the US or UK version to this, but I'm not mad at this. Like when we got this in, we have our edges and everything too. So again, it's really cool. We have like a statue on the back. Who knows what that's going to be? And the naked card cover of this one I think is really cool because it looks like a tapestry. So I actually really prefer the naked hardcover on this one. Again, not mad at this. I can understand why it is the special edition. I would expect a little bit more from the actual dust jacket, but it's still good. Then going to our Afterlight edition for April, it's Enemies to Lovers by Alicia Rai. I did not get this one, so this is my first time actually seeing the cover. This is the original for the US and the UK. I like the gradient on here, and this is our Afterlight cover. I actually really like this one because again, we have like the two different colors, and I like how it is behind the two different characters. I have no idea what any of the other special edition things look like our edges or end papers or anything, but I like the stylized nature of this because again, we have two characters on the cover, but we have more stuff going on in the background as well. Like it looks like it was designed as a cover, not just character art. So I like both. I think I might prefer the Afterlight edition of this one. And then moving on to our Evernight for April, we have Japanese Gothic by Kylie Baker. This is the US cover. I don't even know if I knew that this was the US cover because I've only really seen the UK cover. I'm fine with it. I think the most interesting part about it is the way the font is and how it's sort of broken in the middle, which is just intriguing. This one is going to be the UK cover, and this is the one that I had seen people talk about. I was not interested in this book necessarily, but I do find it very intriguing to see like the Venus flytrap. It gives me almost like Little Shop of Horrors vibes. I don't know if that's actually what it is or not, but I like it. This one is going to be the Evernight edition. I don't mind this either. It harkens back to that US color style, and I don't know anything about this story really. But I don't mind it. I like that it looks sort of like ripped in the middle. It's cool. This one also had another special edition, which was from Owlcrate. I think it was a monthly box. And it's this. It's very dark and to me hard to read. So I do not prefer this style at all. I think Evernight did a pretty good job with this cover. I think I prefer it to the US one. And then the UK one is just such a different vibe. It's hard to pick, but I think they did a good job. Okay, moving into May, for Illumicrate, they have Bloodbound by Ellis Hunter. This is the US version, dragons with red. This is the UK version, dragons with red and blue. Let's actually move into a couple other places that we had this book because this is the Allurial edition, dragons with more red and blue, and Book of the Month. Even though Allurial is owned by Book of the Month, it's part of their same company. Book of the Month also had this book with more dragons with like a blue cover, and I think you could change the dust jacket around. So like those editions had some edges and stuff like that, but like otherwise every single one was almost the exact same design, which was an interesting choice because then you have the Illumicrate version, which I think is actually gorgeous. I love how this is designed. I love that it's not just the blue and red. We do have some colors that are like, not exactly fighting, but like contrasted on there. I was halfway interested by this book, but not enough to get it from any of the special editions. But I really actually prefer the Illumicrate one. I think this one was really, really well done. Then for Afterlight for May, we have Happy Ending by Chloe Leese. This is the US version. which is just more of a yellow background. This one is going to be the UK version, same cover, just like more of a beachy background, which I think I prefer. I think that is so cool. And then this one is going to be the Afterlight edition. I did get it. This is another one that when it came out of the box, I was like, huh, I'm not in love with this cover. Because again, we just have the characters on there. We do have the background. I just was wishing for a little bit more. We have the girl and the dog on the back, and this is a reversible dust jacket. So technically, it could be this couple with this house, with this girl and this dog. I don't exactly know why it's a reversible dust jacket either, because they are very, very similar in the style and the art. I think it's the same person, but like in the composition. I do think I prefer this one to the US and UK versions because I did not really like that cover in the first place. It was fine. I think all three of these are fine. So I do prefer this because we do get, you know, edges and naked hardcovers and special things like that. But again, this was another one that like when I got it, I was just like, could it have been better? Could it have been designed a little bit more? Maybe. I'm okay with this. Then we also got a Starbright for May. That was the last contract of Isako by Fonda Lee. I did not get this one, but this cover here is going to be the US and UK versions. This looks very samurai-esque to me. I know it's going to be sci-fi in a way. I think there is samurais or something, but like, again, this cover does not scream something that I'm necessarily going to enjoy, but I'm sure some people, this is the book that they have been waiting for. This did have, obviously, a Starbright cover, and I think it's fine. I do think the visual impact of the original is better. But I do like that they both sort of have the main character in the middle, so I'm fine with this. I prefer the other one. And this did have another special edition through Broken Binding. Again, we have more of the person in the middle of the cover. And I think the pose on all three is very similar, except for the Starbright one is less action-y. I do think the original and the Broken Binding one have a little bit more action in there. But again, it wasn't a book that I was interested in the first place. And then we're going to be moving on to June. So these are the last two books that I wanted to talk about today. The first one is Nemesis Mine by Amy Archer. This is the US cover, and I think this is the one that I prefer. I just really loved the little silhouette in the middle of the words with all the other stuff around it. I just really liked this one. I fell in love with this cover. The UK version is not bad. I love the art style of this. It just really reminds me of Our Rogue Fates by Sarah Glenn Marsh, which came out before Nemesis Mine. Different artists, I'm pretty sure, but the composition is very similar. So again, I love both of the covers. I just think I prefer the US one because it is different. I did get this as an Illumicrate book, and so this is what that looks like. And so while I do complain about characters in the middle, I do think this is stylized enough that it does look like a cover to me. I do prefer the US version. I do like this, and I think I like it more that it doesn't remind me as much of Our Rogue Fates as the UK cover. I like that it has that, like, what is the Art Nouveau type of styling around it. We have a very similar but slightly different thing on the back, which I enjoy. The edges I love. I think this book is gorgeous under the dust jacket. And on the end papers, I think this is part that I just really enjoy. And then for some reason, this does have a reversible dust jacket with the UK cover, just like slightly different words and stuff. So if you want to switch it, you can. Again, I do enjoy that I got this as a special edition. Even though I do think I prefer the US cover, I'm not mad at this at all. I think I talked about it when I opened this as an unboxing, like even before I got the book out, that I was nervous because some of the covers lately I hadn't been enjoying as much. I do like this one. And then the last one that I wanted to talk about is the Afterlight for June, which is The Open Era by Edward Schmidt. This one I did not get as an Afterlight because I was worried they were going to mess up this cover. This is the cover for the US and the UK, and it is gorgeous. I love this cover so much. And so when I saw they were going to do a special edition, even though I want to read this book, I did not buy the Afterlight edition because I was worried they were gonna mess it up. And I don't mean the artist or anything, I just mean like this is gorgeous. So when I did see this one as the Afterlight edition, I'm not mad at it, but I'm so glad I didn't buy it for myself because the style, I do like the characters coming together across the book. It's very tennis coded because it is going to be a sports romance with tennis and things like that. I'm not mad at it, but the original looks statuesque in a way. Like it's the color scheme, it's gorgeous. I need to get my hands on it, but I'm glad I didn't get the special edition. There's also the Afterlight edition for July. I did not get that one either, even though I want to read it, because again, I'm in love with the normal cover. I have not seen what the new cover is going to be like because they have not put that out yet. I don't think anybody's gotten it yet, but I was nervous. I love the original one. It is so stylized. I don't want them to mess it up, and so that's gonna be it. Again, it's hard to tell if I feel like I should actually cancel my BookBox subscriptions or just keep trying to use my skips. We are currently allowed to use half of our skips every single year. So for example, Illumicrate and Afterlight, where there are 12 books for the whole year, you can skip 6 of them without any punishment. For the quarterly boxes, where there are 4 every year, you can skip 2 without any punishment. And I am already picky about what I get, but now I feel like I need to be picky about how much I love the original cover. I've been trying to check. They always give you the artists, like in their Instagram announcements and things. I've been trying to check the art styles to see, because like you're not gonna know what the cover's gonna look like, but you can see some examples of the artist's art style. And so if I know that it's an art style I enjoy, I hope the cover design is going to be something I enjoy as well. If it's an art style that I'm not too sure about and I love the original cover, I'm now thinking I just need to like not get the special edition, because there have been some covers this year that I have just like absolutely loved. Like Saltswept, I should have had that as the original. Also, like I said, the Open Era, I need that as the original. Everything else, I might have said that I preferred either the US or UK cover, but I don't necessarily think that I was like, that is the cover I want, I need. But like Saltswept, I had buyer's remorse from getting the special edition, even though that special edition is not necessarily bad. I just really, really love the original cover. So yeah, that is going to be it for me today. I think we've talked enough. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Let me know if you have any preferences down below as well, either for the original covers or the special edition covers. And if you want to see more videos, please subscribe. I do have videos coming out Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so I will see you then. Bye.